All right, everybody, welcome to day 13 of the Advent of Cyber. Let's go ahead and jump over to the box and find out what we've got in store for us today. All right, to continue on with the story, today 13, intrusion detection, the pots through the walls. The proposed merger and suspicious activity have kept all teams busy and engaged. So the best festival company systems are safeguarded in the future against malicious attacks. McSkitty assigns the B team, led by McHoneybell, to research and investigate mitigation and proactive security. The team's efforts will be channeled into the company's defensive security process. You are part of the team, a security researcher tasked with gathering information on defense and mitigation efforts. In today's tasks, learn to understand incident analysis through the Diamond model, identify defensive strategies that can be applied to the Diamond model, and we'll learn about how to set up firewall rules and a honeypot as defensive strategies. Let's go through a quick introduction. So, introduction. Intrusion detection and prevention are critical components of cybersecurity aimed at identifying and mitigating threats. When set up early, intrusion detection becomes a proactive security measure. However, in our story, the best festival company has to develop ways to improve their security given the magnitude of the recent breaches. And this epic task will embark on a thrilling journey through fundamental concepts, detection strategies, and the application of the Diamond model of intrusion analysis and defensive security. All right, incident analysis. Consider the cyber threat events that have recently taken place within the Best Festival Company and Antarcticrafts. We have identified clues and artifacts, but we're yet to piece them together to lead us to the attacker. What we need is a framework to profile the attacker, understand their moves, and help us strengthen our defenses. So let's take a look at what the Diamond model is. The Diamond model is a security analysis framework that seasoned professionals use to unravel the mysteries of the adversary operations and identify the elements used in an intrusion. It comprises 4 core facets interconnected to form a well-orchestrated blueprint of the attacker's plans: the adversary, the victim, the infrastructure, and then the capabilities. We'll wield the knowledge to gain from the previous days of the advent of cyber to unlock the secrets hidden within these core features. All right, and down here we have basically we've got the definitions of what adversaries are, what victims are, what the infrastructure is, and what the capability is. What's an adversary? In our exciting storyline, we have discovered a suspicious insider threat causing trouble within the Best Festival Company and interfering with the proposed merger of Antarcticrafts. This individual, who will carry the adversary operator, is not just an ordinary troublemaker. They are the clever attackers or malicious threat actors responsible for the cyber attacks or intrusions. Adversary operators can be an individual, or they can be an entire organization aiming to disrupt the operations of another. That's not the only type of adversary, though. The adversary customer is another intriguing player in the grand scheme. They are one who reap the rewards from the cyber attack and can consolidate the efforts of various adversary operators. Let's picture this: a collection of adversaries working together to orchestrate widespread security breaches, just like the enigmatic Advanced Persistent Threat Groups. You can find all the APT groups and who they are by clicking on here and going through that. Victim. This is none other than the target of the adversary's wicked intentions. It could be a single individual or a domain or an entire organization with multiple network and data assets. The Best Festival Company finds itself at the mercy of these adversaries, and we must find a way to shield them from further harm. All right, what is the infrastructure? Every adversary needs tools. They require software or hardware to execute their malicious objectives. Infrastructure represents the physical and logical interconnections that an adversary employs. Our story takes an interesting twist as we uncover the USB drive that Tracy McGreedy cunningly plugged in, disrupting Santa's meticulously crafted plans. But beware, adversarial infrastructure can be owned and controlled by the adversaries themselves or even intermediary-like service providers. All right, capabilities. What are the capabilities? All right, capability. What is a capability of an adversary? So what capabilities do the adversaries have? What skills, what tools, and what techniques will they employ? Here we shine the light on the tactics, techniques, and procedures that shape adversaries' devious endeavors. Intruders and adversaries may employ various tactics, techniques, and or procedures for malicious activities, and here are a couple of examples. We've got phishing, we've got exploiting vulnerabilities, we've got social engineering, malware attacks, insider threats, which is what we're looking at, and denial of service. So the quick definition of phishing: adversaries may have deceptive emails or messages to try and trick individuals into revealing sensitive information. Exploiting vulnerabilities: adversaries can exploit weaknesses or vulnerabilities in a software, in a system, in a network to gain unauthorized access or perform malicious actions. We saw that on day 10 of the Advent of Cyber, where we uncovered the SQL injections. Social engineering: this involves manipulating individuals through psychological tactics. That way we can gain unauthorized access and obtain confidential information. Malware attacks: adversaries may deploy malicious software such as viruses, worms, or ransomware to gain control over systems or steal the data. We've also got insider threat. This refers to individuals within the organization who misuse their access privileges to compromise systems, possibly steal data, and even disrupt the organization and its operations. And then we've got denial of services, where adversaries may overwhelm a target system or a network with extensive traffic or request, causing it to become unresponsive or crash. All right, what is a defensive diamond model? Fear not, we shall not be mere observers in this cosmic battle. We will harness the power of the diamond model's components, particularly capability and infrastructure, for our defensive endeavors. We will forge the best festival's company into a formidable defender, no longer a helpless or hapless victim. All right, what kind of defensive capabilities can we put in place to help them? It said that defense is the best offense. In the quest for protection against adversaries, the best festival company must equip itself with powerful defensive capabilities. Two key elements of this are threat hunting and vulnerability management. Threat hunting is a protective and iterative process led by skilled security professionals to actively search for signs of malicious activities or security weaknesses within the organization's networks and systems. Organizations can detect adversaries early in their attack lifecycle by conducting regular threat hunts. Threat hunters analyze behavioral patterns, identifying threats and improving incident response. Developing predefined hunting playbooks and fostering collaboration among teams ensures a systematic and efficient approach to threat hunting. All right, what is vulnerability management? Vulnerability management is a structured process of identifying, assessing, prioritizing, mitigating, and monitoring vulnerabilities in an organization's system and applications. Regular vulnerability scans help identify weaknesses that adversaries could exploit. Prioritizing vulnerabilities based on their severity and potential impact, promptly patching or remediating those vulnerabilities, and maintaining an up-to-date asset inventory is essential. Continuous monitoring, integration with threat intelligence feeds, and periodic penetration testing further strengthen the organization's security posture. Meanwhile, reporting and accountability provide visibility into security efforts. By integrating threat hunting and vulnerability management, organizations can proactively defend against adversaries, detect threats early, and reduce the attack surface. These defense capabilities form a solid foundation for incident response and ensure the best possible defense for the best festival company. All right, we talked about adversaries' infrastructure. Now, what about our defensive infrastructure? The best festival company will construct their bastion of defense, fortified with tools and infrastructure to repel cyber attacks. Layer upon layer of hardware and software will be deployed, ranging from intrusion defense and prevention systems to robust anti-malware solutions. The objective is to impede attackers by limiting their options to predetermined paths and disrupting their malicious actions with increased noise. This strategy served as a deterrent to the attacker, making it more difficult for them to carry out their intended activities and providing the opportunity for detection and response. By implementing this approach, organizations can strengthen their cybersecurity posture and reduce the risk of successful attacks. In this section, we'll guide Van Twinkle on her quest to understand two essential components of defense infrastructure: the mighty firewall and those cunning honeypots. Now, we're not going to go through everything within these firewalls. We'll quickly state what each version is. We've got stateless firewalls, we've got stateful firewalls, we've got proxy firewalls, web application firewalls, and next generation firewalls. We can go through and read that later. Today, we're going to be working with stateless packet filtering firewalls. Let's look at configuring a firewall. Van Twinkle knows that the uncomplicated firewall is the default firewall configuration tool available on the Ubuntu hosts, and she decides to use it for an experiment. Initially, it's turned off by default, so we can check the status by running the following commands. So let's go ahead and open up a terminal on our machine. So by running sudo and then UFW and checking the status, we see that it is inactive. We don't currently have any rules set, so we need to define some rules and allow traffic or block traffic depending on where it's coming from and what it is. These can be set to deny all incoming connections or allow all outgoing connections. So quick and easy, let's do this. By putting in UFW default allow outgoing, that means anything coming from this machine is going to be allowed to go out. It's not going to stop it, any type of traffic. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And then what we want to do is deny any traffic that's coming into this box. So let's do UFW. And now that's blocking anything coming into this specific machine. Additionally, we can add, modify, and delete rules by specifying an IP address, port number, service name, or protocol. In this example, we can add a rule to allow legitimate incoming connections on port 22, which would allow connectivity via SSH. We should get 2 confirmation messages indicating that the rule has been implemented on both IPv4 and IPv6. So let's go ahead and try this. UFW. So that is, we're allowing everything on port 22 and we're using the service or the protocol of TCP. And we see our rule is updated. So the first rule is updated for IPv4, second rule IPv6. Firewall rules can be more complex, incorporating specific IP addresses, subnets, or even specific network interfaces. So let's look at this next one. We've got UFW deny from 192.168.100.25. So what do you think this rule is going to do? This rule is going to deny any traffic coming from that specific IP address. So next we've got UFW, and we want to say deny in on E0 from 192.168.100.26. So looking at that specific rule, it's saying deny any traffic that's coming in on this specific Ethernet card, on this specific interface, and coming from that IP address. Let's go ahead and enter, and we add that into our rules. Once we have our rules, we can now enable the service and check the rules that are set. So we can do UFW, and now our firewall is active, and now we can go back like we did before and say status, and if we add verbose, we can get everything in here. And now we see all of our rules in here. What happens if the rules are incorrectly configured? We can reset the firewall and revert it to its default state and be able to configure fresh rules. How do we restart it? Let's do UFW reset. And do we want to reset this? Yes, we do. Now it backs up the rules and we start from scratch. At this point, Van Winkle has a much deeper understanding of how to set up and configure firewall rules to help McHoneybell implement Santa's defenses. All right, now let's take a look at honeypots. What is a honeypot? A honeypot is another intriguing piece of infrastructure in the world of defense security. Picture a trap laid for the attackers, a mirage of vulnerability tempting them away from the true treasures. Behold the honeypot. A honeypot is a cybersecurity mechanism, a masterful deception. It presents itself as an alluring target to the adversaries, drawing them away from the true prizes. Honeypots come in various forms. They come in software applications, servers, or an entire network. They are designed to mimic legitimate targets, yet they are under the watchful eye and control of a defender. For the best festival company, envision a honeypot masquerading as Santa's website, a perfect replication of the real one. Honeypots can be classified in two different types. You've got low interaction honeypots and high interaction honeypots. Low interaction honeypots artfully mimic simple systems like web servers or databases that gather intelligence on an attacker's behavior and detect new attacker techniques. A high interactive honeypot is a honeypot that takes the deception to new heights. It emulates complex systems like operating systems and networks. They collect meticulous detail on the attacker's behavior and study their techniques to exploit vulnerabilities. All right, let's demonstrate how a honeypot works. Let's scroll on up. All right, to demonstrate how a honeypot works, we use a tool called pin-tbox. This is already installed on the VM, and we need to find it here, and then launch the tool. All right, let's go ahead and open up a new terminal, and SSHN has Van Twinkle. All right, now that we are SSHN, let's copy this so we can get into our correct directory, put it in here and paste it. All right, now we're in the right directory, and we want to run the pint box RB. All right, so now we're connected to our scripts. Let's check out what we need to do now. Launch the tool, go to option 2 for networks. All right. Then option 3 for honeypot. When we selected the option to set up the honeypot, we can choose to set up an auto configuration or a manual configuration. The manual configuration offers more options to allocate which port to open and the custom message for the honeypot to display. Accompanying these options, log data will be collected and displayed on the terminal for every intrusion. So let's go ahead and use 2 for a manual connection or manual configuration. Port to open, we want to open port 8080. And our message needs to be Santa has gone for the holidays. Tough luck. All right. And we want to save the log with intrusion. Yes. Default, that's good. Now I don't need a beep. So now our honeypot is active. All right. With the active honeypot, we can attempt to connect to the VM by navigating on the attack browser. You should see a custom message crafted from the honeypot once connected. So let's go ahead and open up a browser. And we want to go to HTTP 10.10.33.203. And our honeypot is on 8080. And we should see a nice little message. Santa has gone for the holidays. So there we are. Now we're on our honeypot. Our honeypot's live. We see it. So if we drop down now, we see our attempted intrusion detection, right? So we see the user agent that we're logged in on via Mozilla. We got all our information and where we actually logged in from. All right. After learning about firewalls and honeypots, Van Twinkle puts his knowledge into practice and sets up a simple website to be hidden behind some firewall rules. You can deploy the firewall rules by executing Van Twinkle's rules.sh script within the home Van Twinkle directory. Your task is to update the firewall rules to expose the website to the public and find the hidden flag. Let's shut down our honeypot and let's go back to the home directory. And there we've got Van Twinkle's rules set up. All right, now that we've got all of that cleared off and we are now back into the home directory of Van Twinkle, we now see that we've got Van Twinkle's rules.sh. So let's go ahead and run that. All right, so there we go. Now we've run Van Twinkle's rule script. So now we've got our firewall in place. Our rules are in place. Let's go ahead and cat this file, sudo, and look exactly what we've got going on. Cat. All right, so now our rules are in place. We see, let's push this to the side. We see our rules have been updated, but now if we cat this file, we see that we are forcing the reset of the firewall. We are allowing all incoming. So we default to allow everything to income. We allow HTTP. We allow SSH. We deny port 21 on TCP. we deny anything, we deny from anywhere to anywhere on port 8088, and we're denying port 8090 TCP, and then we're enabling the firewall. All right, so now what we do is we want to scan that IP address and see if we've got anything open that we can connect to. So we'll open up a new terminal and open up Nmap, and we'll just run a quick scan on this IP address that we've got, 203, and see what we show. And we see that we've got a couple of things on here. We see that we've got port 21, it's filtered. We got port 22. We've got port 8088 is filtered. And we've got port 8090 is also filtered, meaning you don't have access to that. So we should be able to open up, let's open up a browser real quick and try and go to, let's try and go to 8090, 10.10.33.203, and we're going to port 8090. See if we get anything to come up. What we want to do is we want that site to be up and on to the world because we want our adversaries to see that site. And it looks like we can't get into that. So we can fix that. We'll go into this file. I like nano, so we'll use nano. And let's update this file, and let's not deny, but let's allow to this port. All right, now that that is updated, let's go back to our file. And let's refresh and see what we get. Oh, you know what we're going to need to do? We are probably going to need to run that script. Now that we've updated it, now let's rerun the script. And remember what that script does. So that script, when we run it, wipes out all the previous firewall rules that are there and then implements everything that's within the script itself. So rerun the script. Yes. And now let's go back to our website. And now it's open. So now we've got our honeypot set up, and it looks like we've got Best Festival Company's new and improved website that everybody can come in, and then we can now monitor. All right, let's check out these answers and questions. Which security model is being used to analyze the breach and defense strategies? I believe that was the diamond model. Which defense capability is used to actively search for signs of malicious activity? That's going to be threat hunting. We'll copy and paste. What are our main two infrastructure focuses? Answer format, answer 1 and answer 2. What are our main two? So what were our main two? We had firewall and honeypot. Is that right? There we go. Which firewall command is used to block traffic? So you've got an allow and you've got a deny. So to block it, we do deny. There is a flag in one of the stories. Can you find it? Let's do a hint real quick. Find the flag on the website once the firewall rules have been updated. So we've updated our firewall rules. Our website's online. So let's do a find on this page. And we know that THM. There's our flag right here. Let's copy and let's put it into here and paste it over here and submit. All right, there we go. We've answered all the questions for today, day 13 of the Advent of Cyber. Great little room here going into defense. We did defense in depth yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. Talking more about defense today. This is even a further defense in depth. Now we're throwing up firewalls, creating rules, shutting down ports, shutting down specific IP addresses, setting up that honeypot to get our adversaries to go there so we can see what they're doing. So Try Hack Me wants you to go check out the device hardening room. We can go check out that room. I believe there's another room up here as well. Towards the top, the diamond model room. Yeah, the diamond model. You can go and check out that other room, the diamond model room, to get more in depth on the diamond model. For now, that's it for today. And we will jump in tomorrow on day 14. See everybody then.